Hey everybody, today I'm presenting my sourcing and operations strategy for Rivian in response to a sudden viral demand spike. Rivian is an electric vehicle manufacturer focused on premium trucks and commercial fleet vans. With demand rising quickly, especially after the success of its commercial delivery vans, the challenge is going to be deciding whether to increase production or focus on the pricing strategy to manage the spike responsibly. My recommendation centers on protecting quality, keeping supply chains stable, and Rivian's long-term brand strategy. Rivian produces high-quality electric vehicles and currently builds everything at its main Illinois facility. They vertically integrate some critical systems like their software and proprietary drive units, but they still rely on external suppliers for key parts like battery cells, aluminum structures, and the semiconductor chips. Because Rivian is still scaling its supply chain and only has one fully operational factory, they have less flexibility to ramp production quickly compared to some of the bigger automakers in the industry. Exactly is the demand spike challenge. Rivian's commercial vans go viral and global demand spikes. However, battery cell supply, chip availability, and limited factory footprint create a hard cap on how fast Rivian can scale. If they try to increase production too fast, this means they risk quality issues and supplier failures, both of which would hurt brand reputation. In my scenario, the demand spike is directly tied to Rivian's success with Amazon. After Amazon added 20,000 Delivery 700 vans, that real-world visibility pulled in additional interest from companies with zero emissions targets. That's great for sales, but it immediately exposes Rivian's biggest constraints. Battery cells and semiconductor chips can't be ramped overnight, and all assembly flows through the Illinois plant. These two realities create a hard ceiling on how fast Rivian can respond, and that's the key context behind my recommendation to manage demand by pricing rather than trying to force a production surge. For strategy choice, I chose option A, which was to raise prices but keep production stable. For a premium brand, quality and reliability matter a lot more than chasing every order. And by keeping production stable and controlled, Rivian avoids stretching its batteries and chip suppliers too thin. This also preserves build quality and reinforces the luxury positioning. With the additional revenue, this is going to help fund the Georgia plant instead of rushing expensive short-term expansion. Risk is batteries and chips. Both are already global bottlenecks. Rivian relies heavily on a single source supplier, which means that one disruption could stop production altogether. That's why scaling production in a viral moment like this is very dangerous. The components to do this simply aren't available at a massive scale yet. Sourcing director, my first focus during the demand spike is protecting Rivian's flow of supply, especially for battery cells and semiconductor chips, since those are the biggest bottlenecks that we see in EV manufacturing. To do that, Rivian would use ERP dashboards to monitor supplier lead times daily and flag delays early. We would also maintain priority contracts with our key suppliers and begin qualifying backup suppliers whenever this is technically feasible, even if they initially support only part of our demand. The next step would be, because battery and chip shortages can shut down assembly, Rivian should hold targeted safety stock on those components, but only for true risk items so that we avoid excessive inventory. And if a critical part is delayed, we can then activate a logistics plan around air freight exclusively for gating components, so not everything. And then finally, if a supplier fails, Rivian can prioritize confirmed fleet programs and the highest margin orders first. This ensures that we protect key relationships, deliver on brand promises, and maintain financial strength while we manage the spike responsibly. Rivian currently builds all vehicles at the Illinois plant, and while a Georgia facility is planned, it's not online just yet. Because of that, trying to rapidly increase production during a demand spike risks overwhelming our single plant in Illinois. So instead, Rivian needs to maintain current output and focus on efficiency and stability. In North America, finished commercial vans move by rail and truck. That keeps transportation predictable and cost efficient. For Europe, vehicles would first ship by sea. This approach avoids rushing into a new facility investment before there is sustained volume on that continent. If Europe's demand remains consistently strong over time, Rivian can then evaluate regional assembly partnerships or phase in production later. This plan maintains flexibility and keeps supply chain risk low while preserving the company's premium quality standards. To ensure Rivian maintains quality and efficiency during this spike, we rely heavily on operational discipline and data. Key metrics that we're going to look at include supplier lead times, inventory turnover, cycle times per vehicle, and especially first pass yield, which means how many vans meet standard on the first pass without needing a rework. This is going to protect output and quality at the same time. Lean principles also are going to play a major role. That means 5S and standardized work to keep the plant consistent, and pool-based production methods so we only build vehicles tied to confirmed orders and not forecast. That prevents excess inventory and strain on parts of our supply. We also use Kanban systems to visually manage every stage. So this is supplier orders, inbound transit, assembly, and outbound shipments. That makes bottlenecks visible in real time. Then on the quality side, Rivian is going to continue following ISO 9000 with documented processes and routine internal audits to ensure every van is meeting that same standard, and using Six Sigma concepts. We're going to apply statistical process control specifically in the battery installation process since it's a critical point in our business. The goal is a Six Sigma level defect rate of about 3.4 defects per million opportunities to maintain Rivian's quality reputation even under demand pressure. Why option A? Option A is the most realistic and responsible choice for Rivian during a demand spike because Rivian is still scaling and relies heavily on battery and semiconductor suppliers. Rapidly increasing production could create quality issues and supply chain instability. Rivian also wants to protect its premium brand reputation and the trust of major fleet customers like Amazon. By temporarily increasing prices instead of chasing volume, Rivian can maintain consistent output, protect quality standards, and preserve supplier relationships. The additional margin supports long-term capacity growth, including the planned facility in Georgia, without risking short-term operational breakdowns. Up, Rivian's demand spike is a positive outcome driven by the visibility and success of its Delivery 700 partnership with Amazon. However, because Rivian relies on single-source suppliers for batteries and chips and currently operates one main manufacturing facility, increasing production too fast would introduce real risks. This includes supplier strain and potential quality issues. That's why option A is the best approach in my opinion. Increasing price while holding production steady protects Rivian's brand. This ensures consistent quality and maintains reliability for key fleet partners. It also supports long-term growth by strengthening margins and preparing for the future Georgia facility. Overall, this strategy lets Rivian grow responsibly, protects its premium positioning, and continues building high-quality electric vehicles without compromising supplier relationships or operational stability.